The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, an Albany Law School grad, was touring our area today as food prices and supply chain issues are top concerns for most Americans right now.
Today, I sat down exclusively with Secretary Vilsack to ask the questions you want answered. Number one, when can we expect prices at the grocery store to get back to normal? How is the Agriculture Department addressing high food prices? Americans, New Yorkers are frustrated. They go to the grocery store and they can hardly afford to buy meals for their family. Where are results, and when can Americans expect to see a change?
Well, actually, if you look inside the numbers, you're seeing change right now.
U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack says work at the federal level to lower high costs in the grocery aisle is already paying off. But he says don't expect to see immediate relief on every product out there.
We're beginning to see, for example, lower costs in beef, lower costs in some fruits and vegetables. Where we're seeing increases are in eggs, for example. Why are we seeing that increase? Well, it's because we have avian influenza.
Secretary Vilsack points to several factors aimed at reducing food prices. One, the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
We're improving the infrastructure, which allows us to ensure that the supply that we do have gets most efficiently to where it needs to get to be processed.
And a move to create more food supply.
They took literally 1 million acres that was in a reserve program out of that reserve program so they could produce more crops in 2022, which is going to impact and affect supply over time.
But what do you think the timeline is before prices will get back down to what we consider normal?
Well, I think, again, in certain categories, they're already down to normal. But overall, you saw a slight lessening of the rate of increase, which is the beginning. It's going to take a little while. There's no question about that. It's going to take a while. Why? Because you got a war in Ukraine. What does that have to do with food prices? Well, it roils the wheat market. When
you say it'll take some time, do you mean a year, months?
Well, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be able to answer that question specifically. But the reality is it's complex. And again, it is happening now.
Also rattling the supply chain, a fertilizer shortage worsened by the war in Ukraine. At today's event, Vilsack broke news when he announced a $500 million program incentivizing farmers to produce American-made fertilizer.
The challenge, of course, is 2023, the next crop year, and that's why we made the announcement we made. So we put $500 million on the table, 2 application periods, one for 45 days. Tell us what you can do to impact the 2023 crop and the 2024 crop to bring prices down.
Vilsack is also touting a program called Partnerships for Climate-Smart Commodities, which will bring climate-friendly projects to every state.
What we're talking about is a $4.2 billion initiative, which is massive, the largest commitment of its kind in the history of the United States and, frankly, of any country in the world.
And one of those climate projects in New York State is aimed at finding farmers who will financially benefit if they can provide a source of organic feed for livestock.